Hello everyone, a warm welcome to the course of Sophos XGS Firewall. Today we're going to cover a new topic, SNAT, which is Source Network Address Translation in Sophos XGS Firewall. So in this particular video you can going to have the theoretical as well as the lab access, and I heard you must be aware about network address translation if you did in your CCNA CCNP of your networking trainings. So let's start with SNET. So I'll take the basic lab topology on which we're going to perform the lab. So this is my LAN network which is connected towards the 40net firewall. I'm talking of Sophos as of now, and I'm reaching towards the internet. So this is my ISP network. This is the LAN side. The IP address is 192.168.10.0/24. This is port A, this is port B. My WAN IP address could be anything. Let's take it as 171 or anyone, 187.245.213. Okay, so this is my WAN IP address. So under source NAT there is multiple options that are available while translating your network address translation. So source NAT is typically used to translate the outgoing traffic from the internal network. So the first option I'm going to show up is original. So under original, when your LAN user reaches towards the internet, the IP address has not been translated. So whatever the exact IP address, it with the help of that particular IP address, it reaches towards the ISP. Okay, and under source net, there is another option of masquerade, so which is considered as mask in short form, they can say. So where your internal address will translate it to your public IP address. Okay, so let's say if your LAN network is if your LAN user IP is 192.168.10.0/24. Okay, and if you perform the netting using masquerade, okay, so what it will going to do is that it will going to add the public IP address, and with the help of that it reaches toward internet. So with the help of that it is not identifiable, and let's take the lab configuration so that you can have a better access of that. So without having a further delay, let's continue with our lab. So let's start with our first video on how to perform netting, and also we're going to add how we can create security policies in Sophos XGS Firewall. So let's get started. So here on my screen you can able to see that I am on my control center, where it shows me the basic dashboard where I can get the network insights, user and device accesses, network attacks, then allowing application control, web control as well. And I can see my memory, CPU, bandwidth, all. You can see there are sessions that are open, and before that I'm going to show you my topology. So here you can see this is my Windows system which is connected to Sophos firewall, okay, using the incoming interface as port A and the outgoing as port B. Okay, so the traffic that are going out via port A, and it's using port B, when the reverted came back using port B. Okay, so you can see my complete dashboard here, and let's go to rules and policies. Okay, so let's first go to rules and policies. So when you click on rules and policies, before in Sophos version 18 and prior to that, there are a NAT rule that is already been added to the firewall rules, but now they have made two different tabs for creating the NAT rules as well as adding it to the firewall rules. So for SNAT, for source NAT, we have to go to NAT and we have to create the policy. So first we have to go to NAT and create a new NAT rule. So add the netting rule as LAN to WAN. Okay, you can add that this is SNAT we are using for LAN towards the WAN traffic. Okay, Now the thing you want to do is root position, so always do it on the top, and the translated settings. So original source. So original source may be your internal LAN network. So to add the network, now it's showing any, if you want to add the network traffic. So for example, I'll take it as IP, and under IP I'll take my LAN 1. Okay, and I'll take the network. So to take the network is 172.16.16.0/24. Okay, and we're going to save it. So as if you watched my last video, you can able to see that I have discussed the complete host and services tab details in detailed form. So please go through that video if you are not aware about that. Okay, so we selected the original source. Now the original destination. So destination means that your LAN will go to anywhere in the internet, and the services should be any. Now we are not mentioning any TCP, HTTP or UDP services. And for SNAT, so SNAT, as I said, I'll select mask. Okay, so with the help of this particular option, we can able to translate our private IP address to the public IP address, so that whichever LAN user reaches to the internet, no one can able to identify our private IP address. So this is how SNAT works. DNAT, we are not performing DNAT as of now, just keep it original as original. Okay, and here it's interface matching criteria. So inbound interface, our inbound interface should be port A. Okay, and our outbound interface should be port B, right? If you select A and any is also good, but it's good if we do it in this way. I'll just remove any, I'll select port A, I'll apply that. Okay, and this is all. Rest we keep it as it is. We're going to discuss that each of the tabs as well in our next videos, but as we are performing a basic lab as of now, so we are not keeping any eye on those particular options. Okay, and now let's save this. This will take some time. So you can see that the net rule has been added, and it's on the top because we made a rule that it goes to the top. Now to the firewall policies. Okay, now in firewall policies, go to add rule, add firewall rule, enter the rule name. So we want to go to LAN to WAN traffic. Okay, LAN to WAN traffic, and the description that to allow the traffic from our LAN to the WAN. Okay, and rule position should be top, and the rule group. So the rule group is that the Sophos is providing to group a particular rules. So if you select automatic, it's okay, but we are aware that our traffic is going towards to the WAN side, so I'll select the rule group, and here it's showing as accept because we are accepting it. If you want to log the traffic for safer side, we'll do it as of now. So I'm just logging the traffic, and this is all we are done. Now the source traffic. So the source should be our LAN. Okay, then network. If you want to select any network, so just remove that, and we have search for LAN. It's selecting as all type, so we are not selecting, we're going to IP host. So IP LAN host 1, it's selecting the IP. Let's take to IP list, IP ranges, network. So network, you can see that this is what we've created, 172.16. So we are selecting the whole LAN network. Okay, and we are scheduling it. So we have no schedule as of now. We're doing all the time. So we keep it as it is. Now the destination zones. The destination zone should be WAN, and we apply it. Then destination network should be any. Okay. Once you perform it as any, okay, then the services should be any as well, and match non-users. If you want to match the particular users to apply this particular policy on, you can do that as well. Add exclusion. If you want to exclude the particular user from that, you can also exclude some users, some zones, and to reach towards the uh, particular type. Okay, now create a LinkedNAT. So currently we are not doing this LinkedNAT as well. So as you can see that we have created a LAN policy. So this is LAN to WAN traffic, and I haven't added any of the create link NAT rule. I'll discuss this particular topic as well, that what is this link NAT rule. But currently we are not adding anything, but we have created the NAT rule, the SNAT rule, differently. Okay, and we create the firewall policy as well. We have created the rule status on. Just take care of that before you're creating that and click on save. So we have already saved this. This will take some time. So you can see that the firewall rule has been updated. Now let's go to any of the website. Let's go to cnn.com. Here you can see that we are reachable to the cnn.com. Just hold on for a while. If you want to see that how your traffic is reaching towards the internet, you can go to the log viewer. Okay, and under log viewer you can able to see the traffic that are going towards the internet. So you can see that it is using port A, which is in interface. You can see all the traffic that is allowed under firewall rule, which is allowed LAN to WAN traffic. A NAT rule policy is 4, and NAT rule is LAN to WAN. Okay, which is our NAT rule. Okay, port A, which is incoming, the traffic is going and out, which is 172.16, which is our LAN host IP address, and who is reaching towards the internet. This is the source port, this is destination port, because we are using HTTPS. The protocol is UDP. So you can get all the details of that particular users. Okay, if we want to select, there are a list of options. If you want to select the web filter, we have not configured web filter as of now. When we do it, so we can have the option of application filter, web filter. You can see here a firewall, but as of now our traffic is going through our firewall, so we'll select the firewall. And you can refresh this as well. You can add the filters by adding the destination IP, source IP, source port, destination port. According to the NAT rule, we're going to do it. Okay, so this is how we can able to see that using a NAT rule ID 4 we are reaching towards the internet. You can see the date, which is 19/7. Okay, and you can also test your policy here, that for example if you want to check that particular URL has been working with you. So for example, when we configured our web filter policy, we're going to use this, but currently I'm just going to give you a little brief of that we are using cnn.com. Okay, and the test method should be firewall or web policy, anything. The source IP, which is 172.16.16.17. okay, and the source zone should be our LAN zone, not DMZ. It's a LAN zone, and test. So this will take some time, but Sophos gives us the flexibility to check before the policy should be implemented to any of the users or any of the domain. Okay, so you can see that the result is accepted, and it's using the ID as 6, which is our firewall ID, which is showing that it is accepted. So this is about policy test. Okay, now let's go to the NAT rule. So you can see over here that the ID is 4. So you know, as you saw over there, that which ID is working. So this is all LAN to WAN traffic that is working. Okay, now I'll going to, as I said, that I'll going to discuss about LinkedNAT. So I'll also going to cover up that as well. What is LinkedNAT is this particular one, LAN to WAN traffic. So here you can see over here that while we are creating the firewall policy, we haven't added any of the NAT rule. Why we haven't added any NAT rule? Because the source NAT that we created before in the another tab, there we already created a policy that the traffic that is coming from LAN should be masquerade while reaching towards the internet. So that's why this is not as same as the 40net firewall where you want to add the net rule while adding the policy as well, right? But if you are creating the link net rule, so I'll going to give you a little using the example. So let's go over there. Okay, so in Sophos firewall, if you are configuring any of the netting rule, okay, there are two options Sophos will going to provide. One is using LinkedNAT and the second is SNAT. So as you till now the video that I've showed you is using SNAT. So under SNAT we first go to NAT rules tab, okay, and we create our NAT policy, and that particular NAT policy is already assigned to the firewall rules and policies that we created. Okay, so there is no need that that particular SNAT that we created needs to be linked with the rules and policies that we have created, because in that net rule we have already mentioned the traffic that is going to LAN and WAN. Now there is a benefit of using this. So the first benefit should be that this particular rule, the NAT rule, can be used on multiple policies. Okay, so this is the most major important point of using creating the SNAT. And to create SNAT, we didn't have to go to first rules and policy and create the policy. We first have to go to NAT rules, create the NAT rule, and it will directly sync using sync with your rules and policies that you created. Okay, now the second is linked NAT. So under linked NAT, what you do is that first you go to rules and policy, you created, as in you are going to mention the uh, that source address, then source network, okay, means that source IP, destination IP, services, correct, destination IP, destination source, okay, then the services, okay, and below that you can see the option of create linked NAT, correct. I've showed you that. So create linked NAT, and when you click on that, it pops up with another tab. That tabs take you to create the NAT policy. You can create the policy. You also have the option to select out of original, or you want to select the mask. Okay, so it's all up to you, but it gives you the option to select any of the one and you create the NAT rule. Okay, but the thing is, using linked NAT, that particular policy that you created in linked NAT is connected with these rules and policies. You cannot add this particular NAT policy to any other firewall policy that you will going to create in the future times. Okay, so which means that the LinkedNAT means that that is the name itself says that that rule, that particular NAT is particularly added to that rules and policies for that you creating the policies for. Okay, so this is the two options that Sophos is providing. So I created the lab, and I showed you which is of SNAT, and is very simple. If you want to create a policy using LinkedNAT, what you're going to do is that you first go to rules and policy, as I mentioned. Okay, create the policy. When you go to create LinkedNAT, you just go there, you select your source network, destination network, services, and your schedule time, anything you want to mention, and you select as the source, the translated under SNAT, you select as mask and do it. So this both works as same, but the benefits are in SNAT you can use it in multiple policy, but in LinkedNAT that is already been linked to particular rules and policy. Okay, so that's it using netting. Okay, thanks for watching.